Alright, how about a tackle box tour? Don't see many of those, do you? Not going to claim to be any kind of expert. I don't know half of the terms people use for this. I'm just your simple South Louisiana fisherman. Know how to catch fish. I know what catches fish around here. I know what doesn't catch fish around here sometimes. It depends on the weather, the tides, everything. I'll give you a rundown of my outfit, what I have, what I catch with it, and we'll see how it goes from there. Start with, got a cast net. You can get your bait fish, or if you run into a monster school of trout, you can grab many at once. Got a boat hook, because sometimes we do go crabbing, and that's helpful to bring in traps. I got big landing net. I got a folding small landing net. Got my simple tackle box. It's not too much in there, but a decent enough. Have an assortment of poles. Some are specific for one job, some are redundant. Like these three over here are redundant. These are my trout / redfish poles, only I use for salt. They're all, decent length, heavy line. I mainly use this when I'm out trying to get redfish and delicrow. Just because they're a heavier line, they're just, it's more work to use these when you're trying to get small stuff. Go over to this side. It's my heaviest pole. I don't reuse it very much, but if I do happen to get me some mullet or something, I'll throw it on a big hook on there. I've caught one or two drum on it once every now and then, but I don't pull it out that much. It's nice to look at though. These are my 3 working poles I usually use. I have one of your old school spin top ones, like they give you when you first start to learn fishing. This one's actually pretty good. I have never tangled it, and it's the smoothest casting pole I have out of all of my poles. That's a decent length. It's good for light work, catching bass, trout, flounder, sometimes catfish, but I mainly use these 2 for catfish, because these you could put a nice weight on them and just let them sit in the rod holder over there. Start to see that pole drag down a little bit. Know you got your catfish, give it a little yank, pull them in. That's it for my poles. I don't know much in the way of names, line strengths. It's just the way I have them rigged up. That's more of a light line, light pole. That's just one I use for casting surface most of the time. Both of these I use on the bottom most of the time. Sometimes I'll do surface. This red one, I'll put a slap jig on there, like what I call it, a rattle jig. It's decent length. You can get out there good ways, and it's good for trout. Those 3 I use mainly for saltwater, like I said. Rattle jigs for trout, or spoons for redfish. I'll show you those in a minute. Actually, how about now? We'll get started. On all my poles, I like to keep them strung 24/7 as much as possible. I put the swivel safeties on them because it's convenient to tie the lines up. That would be these. This is a exaggerated version. It's just for the big pole. But these guys, I have a ton of them in there. Swivel safeties. Boy, if you pop a line, it's easy enough to tie one of those back on there. Plus, if you're changing lures, changing runs, like here's one of my ones I use for redfish. It's got a steel leader on it. You just change this whole thing out when you're going to change from, say, going for redfish, going to catfish. I have a selection of just plain hooks in there, weighted hooks. I keep all my single hooks in there, like bait hooks and all. These are all my trebles. Yeah, it's a mess, but it gets the job done. A couple floats that I use most of the time. A few lures that I use, the quick grabs. Got some weights. Got a redfish spoon there. Move on to the second level. Like I said, this isn't, super in-depth. I don't know, not catching tons of stuff. These are a bunch of the snap rigs I talked about. They sit in the water, and when you yank on them with the pole, they snap. They just move up and down that line a little bit. For some reason, the trout love them. You can find you a couple trout and get them things going. Start snapping that. You don't even have to bait the hook. Start popping that thing. They'll go crazy. Here's another nice brand new redfish spoon. Some shrimp. These are great. Once again, out there getting your Trout, redfish, that's mainly what I go for. You can get some snapper, crappie, whatchamacallit, drum, sheephead, all of that on that kind of stuff. That's when they're not taking live bait. Usually I'll go get frozen shrimp and just use those on a plain hook. Moving on from there, I've got some more spoons in here. Extra floats, weedless spoon, some little fly I use every now and then when I go bass fishing. More weights, just a bunch of random stuff I've picked up over time. More weights here, they got moved. These little guys, I haven't really ever caught anything with those. I got more steel leaders. I have different knives, like this one I'll use when I'm skinning catfish, because you can just take slabs off with it. Fillet knives, you know, all of that sort. We're getting down into the bait section. I got spare line here, more steel leaders, Catfish Bait. I had bought this, I haven't used it yet. I was going to try using it inland, like in the lake and stuff, trying to get, you know, more fresh water, but I don't know. These work great for trout. These I was hoping to get some reds with. Garbage. Just some plain, I actually need to put those in the top. Some more of these shrimp guys. This is supposed to be for catfish, but I catch trout on these, believe it or not. They work pretty good. More sorted floats in there. I got these, I've tried them, I haven't caught anything with them yet. So I have to see. This is more, I think you're going to get more like in the way of snapper and stuff with it. Not sure though. Another spoon. See, I'm pretty specialized. Trout, redfish, catfish. That's about all I get. There's some more there. They do okay. It's that fire line. Actually, I have... actually, my pole I lost had this on it. It works good. It tangles decently easy, though. But it does okay. I had a pole. I had it strapped on the back with a bungee strap. And I didn't know that the strap had popped, and I lost my pole somewhere between here and... well, somewhere between the launch at Lake Pontchartrain and about 20 miles away, so who knows. I got these guys. I have caught turtles on these, believe it or not. I got a couple snack bars in here in case you get hungry. Another one, I've never used him yet. That is garbage. Yum. Spare hooks, spare leads, spare weights. This little guy's full of just a bunch of little things. I got some spoons in there. This is my, I don't know what you would call, dedicated small one. Like if I'm gonna go somewhere just with a pole, like say if I go on a trip and I'm gonna bring just a pole, like go to a friend of mine's place, they have a pond. I'll bring this and one pole. This has got a basic set to get anything. That's really about it. These are the hooks I use on the big pole. That's about it for my my bait and hooks and all of that. It's basic, yes I know. Specialized only to a few fish. I'm not real, because I'm from Louisiana, we don't have much in the way of fresh down here. I mean, you got some river stuff that comes through, but most of what we have is brackish and salt. So most of the time, the freshest thing we get is bass and trout. I've gotten, I mean, my main things I get, 90% of the time I would say, are catfish, trout, some reds, but usually it's going to be drum. Go crabbing a lot. I have a bunch of traps. I guess I could show you all those. It's not much to look at. They're just ring traps. We set them down in the water with a pool noodle, come back about a half hour later, hook them with the hook, pull them up, and then if they got crabs in them, great. If they don't, move them along. Yeah, that's about it. So this is my boat. I did a walk around video of it. I should have a link in the description or something. If not, I'll put one. But other than that, I'm going to do more videos soon of me going out and practicing what I'm preaching here. But if you like my videos, comment, rate, subscribe. And if you live in South Louisiana, maybe we can hook up and go fishing together sometime. Just throw me a shout out. And have an awesome day.